Welcome back to BYoungMinistry.com, to another blog and another podcast. We continue today in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 9 and 10, which reads, "Those who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap, and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs." That's 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 9 and 10. We return today to the final chapter of Paul's first epistle to Timothy. The apostle opened this letter with warnings about false teachers, and now he closes with deeper explanations for how the false wrecks our lives if we are defined by it. In verse 9 we read, "Those who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap, and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction." Paul describes a person who has to have more and more material things in order to be happy and feel successful. But the riches of this world can be a trap, leading us into bondage, away from freedom. Instead of giving satisfaction, the riches of this world create additional lusts, which are never satisfied. The result is ruin and destruction. When we set our hearts on money, we expose ourselves to powerful temptations that ruin many people. Money is a great servant, but a terrible master. If we set our hearts on money, it will break our hearts. We will not keep what we gain. We will give in to powerful temptations that lead us to those places that we can check into, but we cannot check out of. In fact, we may wander from the faith. The picture given here is of someone who gives his heart to the things of this world, and then cannot resist its lure. And then we find ourselves being plunged into the greatest depths from which we may never recover. When we resist bringing our desires down to the level of our possessions, we enter the process of arriving at that which God calls great gain. This is why godliness with contentment is great gain. When we have less, we must learn the art of contentment. And it is at this point that we will begin to discover that having less is really more. No one gets to ruin and destruction in one large step. No, we get there through a series of little small baby steps, not realizing what is happening to us until it is too late. It's kind of like the frog in the boiling water. No temptation appears as temptation. No one ever deliberately steps into a trap that they know in advance will destroy them. Temptation always carries with it bait that appeals to our natural desires. The bait not only attracts us, but it also hides the fact that yielding to it will eventually bring death and destruction. The bait is always that which keeps us from seeing the consequences of living beyond God's definition of things. In verse 10 we read, "For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs." Experts tell us that the average person thinks about money 50% of the time. Now, having money is not wrong in itself. Money in and of itself is neither moral or immoral. It is what we do with money that determines whether it is moral or immoral. The key is that we seek His kingdom first, then everything, including money, will be seen by us from His viewpoint. Our hearts will always be attached to that which we give them to. The term love of money is one word in the Greek and means affection for silver. The issue is our affection. The issue isn't money. The issue is how we feel about money. And the sin here is the sin of greed. Essentially, our problem is a lack of trust, and we trust money more than we do God. When we find ourselves spending more time thinking about how to get more money, we are probably guilty at loving money. This leads to trying to find ways to acquire more money, and those who love money in order to get money will be tempted to take bribes, distort justice, and take advantage of the poor to get it. This leads to lying, cheating, deceiving, stealing, robbing, and abusing to get more money. Those who love money will never be satisfied, and therefore they will commit every imaginable sin if they think it will gain them more money. The love of money is a mad exercise that pleases its appetite never. Understanding the principles the Apostle Paul is giving here helps us to understand Judas Iscariot, who chose 30 pieces of, you got it, silver, over the greatest person to ever walk the earth. And this drove him suicidally mad. In Psalm 17 and verse 15 we read, "As for me, I will behold your face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with your likeness." This is the wise man's pursuit. And anything we possess is only to be used to advance His kingdom in this world. Money love is deadly love. It ignores the true gain. It focuses on the temporal. It obscures the simple joys of life. It leads to sinful entrapment. It succumbs to harmful lusts. To love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength is the way of the truly rich. My friends, I trust this podcast and this blog are helping you in your walk with the Lord. If I can be of further assistance to you, shoot me an email at BYoungMinistry@gmail.com. Hey, have a great day.